Boom. And we're live once again. And of course, he had to go dark just as I went live. Ted's on the dark side again. Shadow Man. Oh, now he's gone completely. He's messing with my mind. That's okay. There you go.
Let's do that one more time. Boom.
He's enjoying himself. Hey, folks. The only two that I know that are in here are Eleanor and Miss E, or the other Eleanor. So if anybody else is in here, type something in the comments so I'll know you're here. But glad you ladies made it. Might as well start with the best. And a lot of people are liking my website post with the show notes, which I always find amazing, but I'm very grateful. That's it.
No, it's just, yeah, okay, this is better. Sorry. Okay, much better.
Some people are never satisfied.
Let's see. Yeah, so with this setup, really this is set up is I'm practicing the lighting. What we have, ladies and gentlemen, here is what we call two-tone lighting. What two tones do you see, George?
I see blue and I guess some white. I'm seeing blue on what I guess is in reality the right side of your face. I'm seeing a lot of blue. On the left side, I see a tiny bit of blue, but I guess more white. I guess that's what I think I'm seeing. The blue is definitely there.
White is not a tone, George.
I'm sorry.
It's actually red.
So after all the years I spent in bands, now I'm tone deaf? Is that what you're saying?
I would say tone blind. But Eleanor says she sees white and purple.
White and purple. Well, I guess she's right. The blue from what I'm calling blue is kind of a purplish blue. I guess I'm seeing both.
Yeah. Well, when you mix red and blue, you get purple. So when it's
purple, that's true.
So yeah, when it's mixing together, it's giving me the purple. That's why it's red.
I should probably get that kind of lighting because then I'd be a purple haze. Ooh.
That was a bit of a stretch.
Hey, I used to sing that in the band, so.
Also, I'm also trying out a new lens. This one has even more bokeh than before, but I didn't want to give you guys too much. So we just have a simple wall. I didn't want to, in case Mike has a heart attack seeing all of this, Mike and David, if they come to the stream. Is Mike coming?
He didn't tell me one way or the other. Elma says it's like a lilac to the right of her, and then around you it's a deeper purple, and then on the other side I see white. And yes, so that's kind of what I'm saying. That bluish purple on one side, your right side, and the whitish on the other side. Of course, my mind is full of all the old songs I know with purple in it. Purple Rain, Purple People Eater, which was way, way before you were ever born. That's like a 19.
Even a small amount of white or gray added to a color transforms it into a tone. So the color is red and blue.
Okay, so that's why it comes across somewhat as purple. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Juan said purple haze. See, I said purple haze, or Juan said purple haze. I am in the right ballpark with the right people. So there. glad to see you, Juan.
Welcome, Juan.
And I just sent Juan back his Xiaomi Mi 11 Lite, and he should
already.
Yeah, well, I did have it for like 3 weeks. I just couldn't find enough time to do the testing I wanted to do, but I certainly had fun with it, and very grateful to Juan.
Send it over here, Juan. I'll at least test drive it and do an impressions video at least, George.
I find the time, because my exercise when I ride the bicycle,
Yeah.
that's like between the time I leave and the time I get back, that's like 3 hours out of my day right there.
Wow.
And
That's
then
a
the
lot of
days
cycling.
that I cut Eleanor's grass, if I cut the front, that's like 45 minutes. If I cut the back, that's over an hour. So those two things really take up chunks of my day. And then, of course, working 3 days a week and the other stuff I do. So,
I'll dedicate the live streams then to some of the impressions talk or review talk then at that point.
okay. And of course, I've been taking up a lot of time lately watching Grimm. I'm finally in season 6 of Grimm. So, as Eleanor could tell you,
You never watched it?
I never saw it before.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great show.
Yeah. So, are we ready to go with the first story?
Yes, let's whatever it is.
I went with all phone stories this week because I just found these stories interesting. Now, the first one, let me share it. Okay, there it is. This story came out 2 weeks ago, but in our last couple of broadcasts, I never got a chance to get this story up, and I just think it's a very interesting story. So I started with this week's. And this came from Tom's Guide. And of course, the show notes are in the description, folks, if you want to click on it and follow along. But this was on Tom's Guide. And OnePlus phones now look like a mess. Here's why. It's by Jordan Palmer. So let me get the Reader View Plus and get rid of some of these commercials.
Oh, hold on. We got Brian before we start.
Oh, yo, Brian, glad to have you here.
Why did you ask me that, Brian? I don't know. I don't think so. I'm looking at the Sony XM4s.
Well, you're the picky buds guy, so it makes sense to ask you.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Maybe I'll yeah, it depends whether I'm gonna get the Xperia 1 Mark IIIs before the September pre-order, or if I can like Jedi mind trick my girlfriend to get the XM4s for me.
Jedi mind. Okay.
I need audio.
I'm thinking about the Nothing Buds, but now we're close enough to the Z Flip, so I'm not getting anything before I get the Z Flip. So, but I'm trading in 2 devices. So.
Oh, I heard they were doing that for the Z Fold 3. I didn't know they were doing that for the Z Fold Flip as well.
Yeah, they're doing it for both. So I'm trading in both. As far as I know, they're doing it for both. So I'm gonna do that, and hopefully I'll get it.
Thanks for that, Brian. Yeah.
And Renz is in here. Glad you're here, Renz.
But George, what are you going to do about the Duo then? Duo 2.
Yeah, that has become a bit of a problem, but I just need to get that Z Flip when it comes out. So.
All right. To the story.
Okay. And Ren's recognizing one in the chat, which we're very grateful. Okay. OnePlus phones now look like a mess. Here's why. Longtime Android fans will probably remember the heyday of OnePlus. Back in 2014, the company launched what is called the flagship killer, undercutting competitors while offering a powerful device. Sure, the OnePlus had notable faults, but it was a fun phone to own, and I loved the rough sandstone back. Everybody loves that. But starting with the OnePlus 7 series, we've seen the Chinese phone maker expand beyond its roots. While the OnePlus 5 and 6 series were excellent phones, they still have plenty of compromises to keep the price low. With the OnePlus 7 Pro, which I should have picked up and brought over here, but I didn't, OnePlus uncorked the keg and went ham. While imperfect, the OnePlus 7 Pro had a lot of things going for it, and that's still my favorite OnePlus phone. The T series version later that year helped cement that. Then came the OnePlus 8 Pro last year, and we could finally recommend a OnePlus phone with little to no caveats. That's before we get to the OnePlus 9 Pro from this year, which is all around one of the best Android phones ever made, going toe-to-toe with the Galaxy S21 Ultra. If the phones are so great, what's the problem? Let's take a step back and look at OnePlus has become in the last 3 years. OnePlus then and now. In 2020 alone, this is pretty crazy. OnePlus launched 6 phones: the OnePlus 8, the OnePlus 8 Pro, OnePlus 8T, Nord, Nord 10 5G, and the Nord N100. We never saw the original Nord in the US, which looked like a return to OnePlus's roots. I'm still bummed about that. Where before there were 2 phones a year from OnePlus, now there were 6, only 5 of which are available in the US, with the regular OnePlus 8 being lackluster at best. The Nord family was the company's attempt at creating a budget-friendly line, using eerily familiar designs reminiscent of its sister company, Oppo. And 7 months into 2021, we have the OnePlus 9R India only, OnePlus 9, OnePlus 9 Pro, Nord CE, Nord N200 5G, with the upcoming Nord 2 and the OnePlus 9T sure to follow. That's a downright mess, with OnePlus seemingly chasing its dream of becoming the next Samsung, which has its own problems with a messy device portfolio. Coming back to the OnePlus 9 Pro, there was supposed to be a base 128 8GB model that would cost $969. This meant OnePlus could say that its new high-end phone technically costs less than $1,000. But that model never materialized, and now the company confirmed to Android police that the base OnePlus 9 Pro isn't coming to the US. OnePlus blames supply constraints, but such problems should have presented themselves well before the OnePlus 9 Pro was announced. It's been more than 3 months since the announcement. OnePlus is no stranger to controversy, having just been caught throttling apps in the name of battery life. In past years, it performed a series of marketing blunders. Granted, the company has matured a lot since then, but these things are hard to forget. At least from all appearances, OnePlus continues to listen to its community to a degree, something the other big players can't claim. But as OnePlus puts out more and more phones, I expect the user experience to eventually suffer, even on the top of the line model. The Chinese manufacturer tends to let older phones fall behind more so than, say, Samsung. The chaotic nature of OnePlus. All told, the company seems to be in a mess. One of OnePlus's founders, Carl Pei, left not too long ago. This surprised everyone because when I met him a few years ago, he seemed truly passionate about seeing OnePlus succeed. To see him suddenly depart, at least from our perspective, was shocking. That's not to say that OnePlus's new direction was a direct cause of Pei's departure, but it makes you wonder. OnePlus also moved away from what fans loved about its take on Android, Oxygen OS. It adopted a look more akin to Samsung's One UI, something fans weren't too keen on. While I don't mind Oxygen OS 11, it was a bit odd to see the stock Android feel, which OnePlus repeatedly claimed pride in, slowly fade. OnePlus has always had an element of chaos to it, but from where I'm sitting, the company seems to have lost its way, whether it's the convoluted product portfolio or the canceled base OnePlus 9 Pro US release or the app throttling. It's hard to recognize the company that for so long was one of 2 default recommendations for hardcore Android things. We don't have any insight on what OnePlus is doing, so we'll just have to sit back and watch the seeming tumult to see what emerges. But the OnePlus we knew and loved even just 3 years ago is gone, and I'm not sure it's ever coming back. And I have to say, I couldn't agree more with the entire article. I haven't bought a OnePlus phone since the OnePlus 7 Pro, which is still my favorite OnePlus phone. And
still not understanding that rhetoric, though. The phones have gotten better. I don't know what's got it. I don't know. I'm not really paying attention to what's happening with the Nord market because I really don't care about the Nord because
Yeah, me too.
I'm not a budget guy. So otherwise, the phones have gotten better since the 7,
Yes, and he did say that the OnePlus 8 Pro was a really good phone, and
and
the
they're still
OnePlus
cheaper than the flagships from other manufacturers.
right, and the OnePlus 9 Pro he said was on pace with Samsung S21 Ultra. But I have just lost all interest in OnePlus phones. Let's see what Juan is saying. There's a lot of subjective comments to this, and it just parrots this OP lost its way because OnePlus isn't catering to enthusiasts. Yet OnePlus sales are up 400%, walking away from it. That's a very good point. I didn't realize their sales were up so well. Now, if it seems to me their sales really started taking off when they got the T-Mobile deal, and they got some recognition because of the T-Mobile deal.
I don't know if Juan is talking about globally though.
Juan, let us know if you mean globally or U.S. But
like if you're saying the Nord deal has been successful, especially in India, then yeah, I would see it. Even though India is going through an anti-China phase.
I have the impression that Nord is selling well, or did sell well in Europe, also. So
I'm curious how much market share they have in America. They're only in America mostly because of T-Mobile. I only know like 1 or 2 people that got the phone. Well, actually, yeah, I only know 2 people that got the phone that bought it unlocked before the T-Mobile deal. One was from Best Buy. Another guy works at Amazon Web Services.
Okay.
But yeah, I think they still make up the other. But yeah, I think they have more of a market share than Pixel. That's for sure in the U.S.
Mark Sequence is in here. I'm glad you're here, Mark, and he's going to be the contrarian. I'm going to go ahead and disagree with the majority on any particular topic. Okay.
How are you doing, Mark? Welcome, welcome. See, you go to the live stream that retweeted that engages with the audience. Also, let me know in the chat who also is doing their live stream now at the same time. Maybe we can work out something so there's no scheduling conflicts.
And one did answer with both EU and USA. So like I said, I thought it was doing well in Europe also.
Okay.
So up 400% in both regions, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that definitely in Europe and India with Nord and I don't know, yeah, and US. I just don't see them in USA. Well, then again, I haven't been going out much.
Now, my impression, now I could be wrong, but my impression is with the T-Mobile deal, they started doing well with the OnePlus 7 Pro, the OnePlus 8, OnePlus 8 Pro, and I guess now the OnePlus 9 Pro. But my feeling is the Nord isn't doing all that great in the US. My feeling is the Nord is doing very well in Europe. And India. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see it by Q4 2021 when they put out reports about it.
Yo, Gary. Gary says T-Mobile and Metro are really helping OnePlus. I would agree 100%.
Hey, Gary. Welcome to the chat. Oh, back to regarding the Nothing Buds from Carl Pei.
Okay.
I only watched one review on it or look at it. That was from Flossie Carter.
Yeah, I haven't even watched it yet. He's
liking it, but I just he said the only codecs it has is AAC and aptX, and I'm gonna need some LDAC on that. So I don't think so. For
that,
I mean $99, like yeah, for the price, but still, I'll pay more to get LDAC support.
You see, I have the highest respect for what Juan says about them if he reviews them because Juan's pretty much a sound expert. So
I go for L. No offense, Juan. I usually just go for El Jefe.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to. No offense, Juan, but I would trust your reviews too. But I want to diversify my my SME subject matter experts reviewers when I make purchasing decisions. So
that makes sense.
Yeah,
but for $99, it's hard to go wrong. Yeah,
but it doesn't have LDAC, and I'll pay more for LDAC.
So Juan's other comment, it does highlight how small their market share was before. That's true. but they found significantly more success after walking away from enthusiasts. That's probably true. Is that true in Europe also, or is their success in Europe mostly due to the Nordic? I don't know the answer to that. I'm just
I don't know. That's why I'm saying I'm happy to wait till the end of the year when they put out those market share reports.
Okay, and Juan is saying about the Nothing Buds. He wants to check them out, but Jeff is the man. But okay.
And this Mark hasn't replied to who else is having a scheduling conflict with our live stream. But let's go on to the.
You want to go on to the next item? Next article?
Yeah, next article.
Let me click on. I'll share it and let you take over reading it.
Do find it funny though. Like I still haven't heard anything about the OnePlus TV. Much about it.
Yeah, no, you don't. It kind of just disappeared.
But you do know what one thing that OnePlus does right that I love?
Which is?
They make goddamn cases for their phones.
Well, they do. And I wish you wouldn't use that phrase.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
They make bloody cases for their phones.
There you go. That's right. You lived in England first. You might as well use their...
I'd wish, Sony would take a freaking hint.
Oh, you kidding? Sony's not going to do that. You know that.
Oh, who else could take a hint? LG could have taken a hint too.
Well, so could Samsung, for that matter.
Samsung makes cases.
No, they make some cases, yeah, but it'd be nice if they threw in a nice cheap case.
And Juan talking about he'll tell me to go back to a cable.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
All right. His second story is on Android Central, and Ted,
it's an opinion piece from the editor, Daniel Bader.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let me see how I do this. Well, I don't even see ads, so there's no need. Okay.
Let me see if I can get rid of commercials. Okay, there you go.
And so this is Samsung's most important product launch in years. We first heard of Samsung's decision to end its annual Note release cadence with the mid-2021 release cycle all the way back in November, just a few months after the release of the superlative and well-received Note 20 Ultra. It was a good phone. It just didn't have the headphone jack. Disrespectful. That it might be Samsung's last report said, and we'll see the series ending on a high note. Then I guess, they should have just kept the headphone jack.
You should have said high note the way he did. That would have made it a little
high note.
Exactly.
A few weeks later, Samsung sort of kind of walked back the rumor when it said that the Note line isn't dead. Well, manufacturers are putting out rumors now? Come on.
They did come out and say that, though.
If they said it, then it's an announcement.
It's very confusing to me. Good.
When it said the Note line isn't dead, fueling yet another news cycle around a potential non-flagship Note. Yeah. Or perhaps an S Pen support built into other products. This turned out to be correct too, since the S21 Ultra debuted in February with stylus support, and the latest reviews pronounced the same inclusion on the Z Fold 3. It's weird not expecting a Note this year. I've been covering Samsung's biannual launches since they began, and the 1-2 punch of the S line in February and the Note line in August was comforting in a weird everything is a product sense. The way Samsung tries to one-up itself a few months later, piling the new tech into the Note that wasn't available or financially feasible for the S series. That began to change a couple of years ago, though, when both lines appeared to converge in ways both subtle and overt. The S10 and the Note 10 were extremely similar, and the S20 and the Note 20 even more so. To be honest, it's unlikely many people will miss the Note 21 when Samsung debuts two foldables and a follow-up to the 2020's best value flagship, the Galaxy S21 FE, on August 11.
That's a week from next Wednesday.
But it marks an important turning point for the company, one that's seeing most important mobile products debuting, thank you, closer to new iPhones and Pixels in the annual calendar, with its most commercial, the Galaxy S line, debuting in its regular winter spot. I say most important because Samsung appears to stake much of its future success on the proliferation of foldables, normalizing their existence in the mainstream as it grooms the public, just as it did oversized phones with the Note line. That's a bit of a stretch, but
I think it's the same. I agree with them. I think it's the same type of thing they did with the Note.
no, 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 no.
Big.
Any Tom, Dick, and Harry on the street sees a big phone and they like.
But they didn't when the Note first came out. A lot of people were complaining it was too big, blah blah, and that went on for like at least a year.
No, those were the ones. Those were the broke boys that couldn't afford to buy in the first place. Women were loving the phone.
There were lots and lots of people that just thought the thing was too gigantic until people got used to it.
No, it was no got used to it. There were a lot of people, more so than it was just a loud vocal minority that complained.
Okay.
What was his name? The guy who this will ever forever be his legacy. David Amell now works with Android Authority. No,
David Amell, yeah.
Yeah, he's now with MKBHD. I think. Oh my God! I hope it wasn't his debut video, but he was basically complaining about how the S7 Edge Plus was too big.
Okay.
And he got dragged. He got dragged.
But he wasn't the only one. There were a lot of people when the Note.
Why would you complain about a plus size phone?
It was just way too big.
Why would you complain about a plus size phone though when they make a normal size phone?
Well, I wouldn't, but all I'm saying is a lot of people said, "Here, look at Gary's comment. Foldables are the future."
I'll address your comment later, Gary. Let's go on. While it's unlikely either of its new foldables, the Z Fold 3 and the Z Flip 3, will be offered in configurations under $1,000, they'll almost certainly be cheaper than the previous generations, inching closer to the threshold of accessibility. Samsung has also spent years building an ecosystem infrastructure that rewards trading in old Galaxies much more so than other devices for new ones, and this year will be no exception. Yes, I'm very curious to see what how used Samsungs will be treated in the market now, because before they were tanking, but that was like an Android thing. But right. You can trade two devices now for a phone.
Two devices this time.
I don't know what's going to happen. Like, does that technically raise the resale value of Samsung's phones? Or
well, I'm not trading in Samsung phones. I'm trading in two non-Samsung phones.
Oh.
I'm trading in an LG Velvet and a Pixel 3.
Because I was thinking that if you're always trading in the Samsung phones, that makes some scarcity on the used market then.
Yeah.
Anyway, the company has always promised an extra $100 trading credit if you reserve one of the upcoming handsets. Samsung knows that money is still tight for many across the world, and incenting people to switch to an expensive foldable often comes down to giving them a lot of money, more than it's worth in the traditional used phone market for their current device. The new foldables will also be more robust than their predecessors, even though neither the Z Flip or the Z Fold 2 had anywhere close to the same reliability concerns as the first Z Fold. The Samsung feels confident enough that Z Fold 3 inside display cover that lets people put pressure on it with an S Pen speaks to its improvements it's made to the ultra-thin glass substrate that it debuted in the Z Flip. And I'm excited to see how that translates into real-world use.
Yeah, and MKBHD and David Amell were talking about that on his podcast this week, and they were both curious about what the S Pen was going to be like compared to the screen, because they said the screen is, the normal S Pen would scratch the screen up bad, and obviously Samsung's not going to want that. So they were both curious as to what the display was going to be like compared to using the pen.
You mean people actually putting the S Pen to the Z Fold 2?
To the Z Fold 3, not the new.
So people have the Z Fold 3?
No. They were just discussing it. Nobody has it, as far as I know.
Okay. It sounded like you were saying that people were trying to use the S Pen.
No. They were thinking that unless Samsung had changed something fairly drastically with the screen and or the pen, it was really going to scratch it up, which of course is not what's expected.
I mean, Samsung actively told you. Finally, that's me.
Okay.
Yeah. Finally, I have a gig to do Saturday, for another photo gig.
Okay.
Finally, on the topic of purpose, Samsung still has some convincing to do. There's no doubt that merely having a larger canvas to consume media, navigate through apps, and perform some tablet-like multitasking is reason enough for some people to upgrade to a foldable. For the average person, though, the bar needs to, I'm sorry, say for the general person,
Yeah.
the bar needs to be much higher to be put aside aforementioned two concerns: the high cost of entry and the questionable longevity. Samsung has made a few notable improvements to the Android experience to coax early adopters to foldables, but there's still no killer app or features that the company can point to aside from it folds out to become a tablet. For many with larger phones like Samsung's Galaxy S Ultra or any other number of other flagships, that reason alone may not be enough. Is it though? The reason why I have my iPad Pro is because it's more enjoyable to edit off of it because it's a larger screen real estate.
And the reason I want the flip is because it is so different, and I'm thinking that 3 years in, they probably have gotten it right or very close to right. That's what I'm thinking.
Let's see. So with two foldables, watches running the new Wear OS, new Galaxy Buds, and an updated 21FE, this is one of the most overstuffed events in recent memory. When August 11 rolls around without a note in tow for the first time in 10 years, there will be plenty of reasons to forget about the former late summer flagship. We're not only getting the two aforementioned foldables, but likely a Galaxy S21 FE, two Galaxy Watch 4 variants, on which Wear OS 3.0 will debut, a new Galaxy Buds aimed squarely at the all-important $99 price point. Samsung may also have hidden a few things away for few surprises. Personally, I am more excited for this release cycle than anything Samsung has done in a long time, more so since the Galaxy S8 in 2017. Android is a good place right now, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the world's biggest Android manufacturer does in its own take on Material You. In the next version of One UI based on Android 12. I'm looking forward to seeing how Google's collaboration with Samsung's turn out in the next new Wear OS and how One UI will differ from Google's take on the same software in the Pixel Watch, which we're expecting alongside the Pixel 6 in October. Above all, though, I think the Samsung's opportunity is finally to bring foldables mainstream, 10 years after the Note debuted, and change smartphones in its own significant way.
Yep, I agree.
Let's see. We have Gary's talking about the Note phones looked weird in the era of 5.8 phones.
That's true.
Didn't look weird. It
looked weird to a heck of a lot of people.
It looked bigger
at the time,
and to many people, especially back in the day, bigger was better.
I think that mostly came from the Asian market because they accepted bigger phones long before the rest of the world.
Women accepted bigger phones long before you guys started complaining about it.
Okay. Gary's still saying foldables are our future, not sure about right now. Yeah, that's what we're all trying to figure out. What else he saying? Will Samsung give you fair value on the trade-in? I mean, I don't think you can trade in the Note 20 and then A52 and get a free Fold 3. No, I don't expect to get a free phone, but I've been very happy with the trade-ins Samsung's given me in the past. So I'm thinking if they're letting me trade two devices, I'm pretty sure I'll get a pretty good buy. That's my guess.
Yeah, I bank on that too.
Oh, and you mentioned he mentioned Android 12. Let me stop the screen. And I wanted to say I do have Android 12 on my Pixel 4a, and I've been running the beta. Well, the last beta before today, today's update? No, yesterday's update, I guess. I guess that was beta 3, and that thing messed up, well, in two ways. There were certain apps that they just wouldn't start, and my YouTube Studio, I could not get it to open on the Pixel 4 at all. And I also found that with beta 3, when I started the phone, it took like 5 minutes before the phone would even come up. But Yesterday, I got an update, and now everything seems fine to me, at least with those things I mentioned. So,
Okay.
so I guess I did hear other people like on Android Central last week. They were complaining about some of the things in Android 12 too, and especially with Beta 3. So I think they, as near as I can tell, fixed most of the problems that they had with that particular beta release, which I'm very happy about.
Ooh, it's a beta, George. Yeah, bugs are gonna happen in a beta.
That's true. That's true.
What?
But it's just that the previous one before that one seemed much more stable, and even the guys on Android Central said the same thing, that it seemed more stable up until that. You didn't say what tonight's sponsor was.
Oh no, Renz didn't ask. I'm not sure Renz is here.
I think Renz is probably just getting to work, is my guess.
Yeah, I'm saving it for Renz.
Okay. So anyway, so I'm very excited about the Z Flip. I don't know why I got so into it, but in the last couple of months, I just kept getting into the Z Flip more and more and more. I've never had one, of course, but I'm pretty excited for it. Hey, Crystal, glad to see you here. And also,
welcome, Crystal.
Anthony, my Project 13, he's like me. He's looking much more forward to the Z Flip, like I am. So she's wishing us all good vibes, and the same to you, my dear. Okay, on to the next story.
Yes.
And I just found this interesting, I guess mainly because I have not been able to get any interest for myself in the Nord series at all. So this one was on Android Authority, and the best OnePlus Nord 2 alternatives. 7 phones to consider before you buy, from Apple and Google to Xiaomi. These phones take the fight to the Nord 2. And that's by Hadley Simmons. And let's see if I can get into some of these commercials. Okay. So OnePlus had finally launched the Nord 2, arriving as a follow-up to the well-rounded original Nord model. Last year's device was the first mid-range OnePlus phone in years, and the firm has since embraced budget devices in a massive way. You can say that. You can read our full thoughts in our OnePlus Nord 2 review, but it's fair to say that OnePlus has done a solid job of picking up where the original left off. But what if you want something a little different? Well, there are plenty of Nord 2 alternatives on the table. So, starting off with the Poco F3 GT. I've never had a Poco phone, but I know people rave about them.
Yep.
The Poco F3 GT launched in India just a day after the Nord 2, bringing a gaming focus to the table. It offers the same Dimensity 1200 SoC as the OnePlus device, but its standout feature is a pair of retraceable shoulder buttons. Shoulder buttons for gaming. What are shoulder buttons? Do you know?
Trigger buttons that usually are on the side.
Oh,
I think.
That's why they're
Yeah.
called shoulder. Can you tell I'm not a gamer? Poco's phone also offers a 6.67-inch 120 hertz OLED screen and a 5065 milliamp battery, resulting in a higher refresh rate and a larger battery than the Nord 2. Other notable features include an IP53 rating, 67-watt charging, and a triple rear camera, 64, 8, and 2 megapixels. Are you listening to me on another phone or something?
No.
Oh, it sounded like my voice in the background. Okay. The Poco F3 phones offer a few choice upgrades over the Nord 2. In other words, you might want to consider this device over the Nord 2 if you spend plenty of time gaming on your phone or just want a bigger battery. There's no word on wider availability, but it'll set you back Rs $26,999, $362 in India. For those outside of India, we recommend you check out the standard Poco F3, packing a Snapdragon 870 chipset, 120 hertz OLED screen, $412 for me. Price tag The biggest issue with this device is that the Android skin was buggy at launch, so you might want to wait for more OTA updates before jumping in, if that makes sense. And the next recommendation is the Samsung Galaxy A52 5G, which I have right here.
Yay!
If I could think, yeah, I actually have it turned on at the moment too. My third SIM is in this phone. Samsung's Galaxy A series continues to deliver some good mid-range wares, and the Galaxy A52 5G is right up there as one of the better entries. I agree. The 5G powered mid-ranger sacrifices some horsepower compared to even the original Nord, but you are still getting a decent Snapdragon 750G chipset. The rest of the spec sheet compares pretty favorably to the Nord 2 for the most part. We've got a 120 Hz OLED screen higher than the Nord's 90 Hz, a 4500 milliamp battery, and a pretty solid quad camera system. The standout feature is IP67 water dust resistance, which the OnePlus device lacked. Yeah, that I thought was very cool on the A52, considering that it's such a budget device.
Okay.
Perhaps the biggest downer for the A52 5G is the 25-watt charging speed, which doesn't bother me at all.
Nah.
Paling in comparison to the Nord 2 65-watt charging, and that is true.
That is, yeah.
It's also a little more expensive than the Nord 2, but there's a lot to like here, and 3 years of Android OS updates is the cherry on top of a tasty cake. Yes, I would, anybody who's interested in budget phones, I would highly recommend the Galaxy A52. And I would also recommend the Xiaomi Mi 11 Lite that I just sent back to Juan. And both phones, I'd say, are great phones, great values for the money. So just my opinion.
The phone didn't do so well, though, for your low light test, I noticed.
Okay. And the funny thing was, when I did the original picture next to picture test,
Yep.
half the people picked the Xiaomi and
That's
half
true.
the people picked the Samsung. So it seemed like pretty much a 50-50 split, and like, hey, we're all different. We all have different tastes. So the original Nord is one of the best.
Actually, I think what it was I think the Xiaomi, if I remember correctly, the Xiaomi did worse than the Samsung in the low light.
I believe so, yes.
But yeah, as soon as you got outside, I think like Xiaomi was better in some areas.
And a lot of people liked it outside.
Yeah.
The original Nord is one of the best OnePlus Nord 2 alternatives, and it's aged pretty well since its release a year ago. It's got a Snapdragon 765G processor that's still very capable and 5G ready, a 90 Hz OLED screen that's near identical to the new phone's display, and a 4110 milliamp battery with the 30-watt wired charging. OnePlus also took a quantity over quality approach with the cameras, featuring a quad rear camera system, 48/8 and ultra wide and 2 megapixel sensors, and a dual selfie setup. The latter consists of a 32 megapixel main shooter and an 8 megapixel ultra wide lens for group selfies. We weren't particularly enthused with these cameras, but updates and apps like Gcam can make a difference. Yeah, Gcam always makes a big difference. There's their long-term review. Tossing in familiar Oxygen OS Android skin, the first Nord is a pretty sensible alternative to the new device. The only downside is that the phone might be hard to find as it's reportedly out of stock. I didn't know that. Alternatively, OnePlus has launched the Nord CE, which is essentially a slightly stripped down, cheaper Nord. In fact, the only major cutbacks are less capable Snapdragon 750 that would bother me, and no dual selfie camera setup. Otherwise, you're getting a bigger battery, the same 30-watt charging speed, and a 64 megapixel main camera. And here's the one I just sent back to Juan, and I was able to test out for a few weeks thanks to him. The Xiaomi Mi 11 Lite 5G. And as you all know, I just recommended it. The Mi 11 Lite is the cheapest of the core Mi 11 series, actually available in 4G and 5G flavors, but the latter is definitely the better OnePlus Nord 2 alternative on paper. Aside from 5G connectivity, the Mi 11 Lite 5G also offers a Snapdragon 780G processor that's a major upgrade over last year's Snapdragon 765G mid-range 5G silicon. Otherwise, the 4G and 5G models share a number of features, namely a 4250 milliamp battery with 33-watt charging, a 6.55-inch 90 Hz OLED panel, and the same triple rear camera system. The latter consists of a 64 megapixel main shooter, 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera, and 5 megapixel telemacro lens. The two variants do have different selfie cameras, 20 megapixels for 4G and 16 megapixels for 4G, but share an IP53 rating, which is good. And I remember when I did selfie shots with the Mi 11 Lite, some people didn't think they were very good. Xiaomi has positioned this device as a design-focused phone, coming in at just 6.8 millimeters thin and weighing just under 160 grams. So if you value aesthetics and ergonomics, this might be the device for you. Yes, it does, to use the phrase, feel very good in the hand. It does fit very nicely. It's very easy to carry around. Okay, this one surprised me that this was still on the list. Apple iPhone SE 2020. Like the idea of a cheaper yet capable device and don't mind venturing outside Android? That's where the iPhone SE comes in, retailing for $399 in the US. Apple's device essentially has the same design as the iPhone 8, so those expecting thin bezels and something fresh might be disappointed. Otherwise, you're getting a still nippy 813 Bionic processor, IP67 water dust resistance, and wireless charging. The addition of a fingerprint scanner is also welcome in today's mask-wearing climate. The iPhone SE does lack several features compared to the Note 2, though, such as an OLED screen, high refresh rate, fast charging, an ultra-wide secondary rear camera, and 5G. You're also sacrificing battery life if you go with the Apple device. Nevertheless, you do gain comprehensive access to Apple's ecosystem by opting for this phone. And see, that whole list would dissuade me from picking it over the Note 2, but that's just me. And now you've got the Google Pixel 4a 5G, and which I have. I have the Google Pixel 4a, but not the 5G, which I know is the better phone. So, OnePlus is one of the better companies when it comes to Android OS updates, but the Nord series only gets the standard 2 years of OS updates and 3 years of security patches. So what if you want longer term support? The Google Pixel 4a 5G delivers 3 years of OS updates and 4 years of security patches. You're also getting a clean version of Android and unlimited high quality Google Photos backups. Otherwise, the Pixel 4a 5G slots in neatly between the Pixel 4a and Pixel 5, featuring the same Snapdragon 765G chipset seen in the Nord and Pixel 5. You're also getting the same dual rear camera system, which is great, featuring a 12 megapixel main shooter, a 16 megapixel ultra wide shooter. We thought image quality was fantastic for the most part, although the ultra wide camera wasn't exactly great in our book.
That's the first I've ever heard about a complaint on the camera.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
On a Pixel camera, what?
But that's the good thing about reading these reviews. And I guess you can go check out the review yourself. In saying so, the Pixel 4a 5G does miss out on a few features seen in the Nord 2, such as a high refresh rate screen, fast charging, and huge battery. But it's still worth considering if you value camera quality, software updates, and stock take on Android. That's true. Don't care about 5G and ultra-wide camera? That's where the Pixel 4a comes in. That's the one I have. The Snapdragon 730 chipset is pretty old right now, and it lags behind last year's 765G, but you're still getting a great single rear camera, stock Android, and 3 years of OS updates. Yes, and I still love mine.
Not to mention, you also get
go ahead.
Google Photos updates.
That's true.
Free Google Photos updates.
Yeah, I just got a Google Photo update, I think, last week. Although I have the Pixel 4a and I still love the camera and the pictures, but for me, the phones I have right now, my iPhone 12 Pro and Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra are both better cameras, but they're both a heck of a lot more expensive too. So we're not talking budget there. Okay, and the seventh alternative for the Nord 2, the OnePlus 9. Those with cash to spare or taking the contract route might want to consider the standard OnePlus 9. You will be spending $729 in the US, rest 50,000 in India, but you do get quite a few more features in exchange. The OnePlus 9 comes with a flagship Snapdragon 888 processor, higher refresh rate, wireless charging, at least outside India. Interestingly enough, the phone also comes with an IP68 rating if you buy it via T-Mobile. Didn't know that. Unfortunately, unlocked devices don't have this rating, but it's presumably still got ingress protection of some kind. OnePlus's vanilla flagship also stands out thanks to its Hasselblad branded camera system. You're getting a 48 megapixel main camera, IMX689, a 50 megapixel ultra wide snap, IMX766, and a 2 megapixel monochrome lens. And we thought it took great photos in our review. For those in India, the region exclusive OnePlus 9R distills the OnePlus 9 series experience into an even cheaper package. That's it for our look at the OnePlus Nord 2 alternatives. Are there any other phones that you'd recommend? So I think they made a pretty good list there. The one that I would shy away from on that list would probably be the iPhone SE 2020.
I would have shied away from the OnePlus 9 since that doesn't really fall into the theme of, one of these things are not like the other.
Yeah, well, that's probably true.
Why did you even pick this since you don't even know anything about the Nord?
Say it again?
Why did you pick this article?
Oh, simply because I think people would be interested, and I thought they might be interested that there are alternatives, so. Okay.
A Nord option. The Nord option is the alternative option. It's not the option where you have to think of an alternative for.
Yeah, well, that's probably true. That's probably true. But it seems like some people in the tech community are pretty high on the Nord, or think the Nord deserves some press, at least. That's my impression. Don't you get that impression?
No, like I say,
I have no interest in any OnePlus phone at the moment. I'm just fine with my OnePlus 7 Pro.
Yeah, I'm just like, nah. When I usually comes around to budget phones at this time.
Okay.
I'm usually the type that would, instead of getting like the budget phone, I would usually go for, last year's flagship.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I'm going to get a budget phone, a cheaper phone, I'll usually go for the budget phone simply because I want to be able to show it on my channel, So of course, I love my Pixel A series.
And it's crazy, like around 4 years ago, we could have get flagships for around $400 or $500 now.
That's
now
true.
It's no longer an option. That price, people are calling it mid-ranger budget or whatever.
Yeah,
and I think that's unfortunate.
But also true, a lot of people, including myself, have recognized that what we call budget phones a few years ago were, compared to the flagship, kind of trash. Well, hasn't been true for a year and a half, 2 years now. I mean, the budget phones keep getting better and better and better.
What are you talking? Axon 7. That went toe to toe with the Galaxy S7. What are you talking about?
And that was the only one at the time. Don't forget, there was no other phone in that price range that could go toe to toe. That was the only one. Now, Xiaomi, OnePlus, Oppo, there are a number of budget.
None.
Even Nokia.
None in the U.S.
None that's official. Well, OnePlus is official in the U.S. The others.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, and some of the Nords are here. So
true. But as far as your article is concerned,
but you're right. They are.
You would have to look for the alternative for that phone. Well, no. Yeah, there's the Galaxy A52, which you have.
Right, and the whole Galaxy A line. That's the whole point.
If anything, the Nord phone is an alternative to the Galaxy phone here.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
All right, let's get over. Let's see. Ooh, we got some comments.
Oh, Renz is in here now. If you want to tell him about the sponsor.
Oh, right. And ooh. So, Friday Night Tech Talk is brought to you by Arizona Green Tea.
That's what Eleanor drinks too. Except she drinks the
the cans.
No, she drinks the same bottle. She buys that same bottle, but
the mango.
No,
the iced tea.
The weight loss. With the
diet one.
Diet. Thank you very much.
Oh.
See, I drink diet nothing ever.
Yeah.
She buys the diet one of that exact same brand. She buys it week after week after week for years now.
Yes, and it also goes great with some jollof rice.
Okay.
Let's see. And speaking of tea, could it help notice? Hold on. Do you see my comment in the chat?
Which one? I'm not saying it.
Should be after Yo Crystal.
No, I don't see any comment after Yo Crystal of yours at all.
Peculiar.
You sure you hit enter? Or
yes,
whatever.
Sure. Copying and pasting. Maybe I have to take out the emoji. Maybe that's a problem. And it's going to take you a while for you to see it again. Let me just remove it.
Yeah, that's true.
Nope. And it's not letting me take it out. Boom, boom, boom. Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking on both the StreamYard comments, and I'm also looking at the comments on my phone, and no, it didn't show up.
It's not letting me take it out. Ah, never mind.
Are you going to tell us what it is, what it said?
Oh yeah, no, I was just commenting on Mark's haphazard attendance. I was wondering if he was seeing another streamer behind our
attendance. You have a lot of nerve. You think you are a teacher?
I was just curious if you were seeing another streamer behind our back, Mark.
You are required to be here. We are watching you. Hey, I'm just grateful that he shows up at all. So
I didn't figure you'd be the type to give participation trophies, George.
I wouldn't say participation trophies, but I'm grateful for any viewership. I'm grateful for anybody that finds us interesting to watch and listen to.
Okay. So next article from Android Headlines. Yeah.
I'm sharing it now. Okay, that's all yours.
I'm happy. Dilemma. Let me just lean this chair back. But if I lean it back, no, crap.
If you lean back, you won't be as cheerful. Oh.
And now I'm trapped between a light and a blurred bokeh that's in front of me.
Yeah, that's better than being trapped between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, yes. I'm trapped between a light and a soft place, literally, actually. The soft place is in front of me and the light is behind me.
Well, I guess I pretty much have to say lighten up. Oh.
Yeah. So by Sumit.
You knew that was coming, right?
Yeah, I walked into that. Hook, line, sinker. So Pixel 5, 4a, 5G, Google Fi listings removed ahead of Pixel 5a launch. That is quick. Wow.
Yeah.
Like I knew it was going to happen. I didn't think it would happen this soon.
And that's by Summit. Can you say that last name?
I thought I said it for something. Adhikari?
Adhikari, okay. I'm going to get rid of the commercials and stuff now. Okay, there we go.
Gary being trapped in the closet.
That's true.
I wonder how far, if there was any new releases of that Trapped in the Closet series by R. Kelly. If you ever finished this story. You never heard of it?
No, I never saw it. I've heard of it vaguely, but never saw it.
It was
I miss a
a
lot of stuff.
it was a comedy. What would you call it? A comedy musical?
Okay. And
Uh,
I miss a lot of comedies in particular because you know how I am about language and stuff. So I tend to miss a lot of comedies because now I could be wrong, but in my mind, a lot of today's comedies have a lot of vulgar language for me.
well, it was a musical comedy. So
Okay. I tend to like musicals, that's true. Pretty weird musician if I didn't like musicals.
he kind of, yeah, but hopefully it completed it years before he had to, take care of his other engagements. So with the
Okay.
Pixel 5a 5G expected to arrive next month. Actually, this is the first time I'm hearing about a 5a 5G expected to arrive next month. Google's two most recent phones, 5 and 4a 5G, have gone out of stock in most retail stores in the US. Spotted by 9 to 5 Google, both phones are no longer listed in the Google Fi on Google Fi. It's not just an out of stock label on the product landing page. The entire listings are gone, including descriptions and specifications. Pixel 5 and 4a 5G have both been out of stock on Google Fi for most of this month, the publication reports. However, delisting of the phone suggests that the Google-owned MVNO has started the preparations for the Pixel 5a 5G. The 4a is now the only Google phone available through it. The phone comes in just black and costs $349. Must it keep the 5a? Must it keep the 5G name then?
Well, the Pixel 4a is not a 5G phone. The Pixel
Well,
4a
the
5G, they're two separate phones.
Well, he's saying the 5. Well, they said 5a 5G in the article.
Right, but the only one that you can still buy on Google is the Pixel 4a, which is this one, the one I have, but I do not have the 5 or the 4a 5G.
So the Google Fi also sells phones from Samsung and Motorola. The Google stores often has Pixel phones listed as out of stock, but new stocks arrive soon, though delayed shipping many times. However, the most recent case is a bit different. The 4a 5G and the Pixel 5 are sold out as pretty much every major retailer in the US. Google Fi has been gone an extra step and removed the entire listings for the two recent Pixel phones. If you recall, we saw something similar happen with the Pixel 4 and the 4 XL last year, just before the Pixel 4a arrived. The older phones were sold out and discontinued ahead of the new model's debut. Judging by this recent developments, we might see the Pixel 5a 5G break cover. There has been rumors that Google has canceled the Pixel 5a 5G, but it exists. There has been no dearth of Pixel 5a 5G leaks as well. By the looks of it, the new Pixel will use the same Snapdragon 665. You can find out more about it. Something about this article is rubbing me the wrong way.
Obviously. What is it?
No.
Okay. No, I just thought it was interesting because I do remember
I think originally we heard that the Pixel 5a was going to have the 765 processor, like the Pixel 5, right?
I'm not sure.
Well, Will and I were talking about this, I think like 3 live streams ago.
Okay.
Or was it 4 live streams ago? And like that's when we realized that there's no way that Pixel was going to continue selling the Pixel 5 because it made no sense.
Okay, yeah, that's
So,
what I remember you discussing that. Yeah.
So I'm just like, it seems like, whatever SoC Google's going to be using, 5G is going to be available on all phones. So
I would think so. But plus
It's
the
just-
fact, remember, it's all still just rumors, so nobody's sure.
then why the hell do they keep saying this 5A 5G? That 5G part might be pointless.
Yeah, maybe not.
Hmm.
But I did. But the reason I put the article up because I did remember. Last year, just before before it came out, they did pull stuff, and you couldn't buy it. The previous ones. So that seems to be their way of getting ready to release.
Yeah, Apple would be happy. The Apple just, they keep it and they just discount it by $50. But Google says, out with the old and with the new.
Exactly. Exactly. Seems to be their strategy. Okay, moving on. The next story is from Android Central. And I just thought this was interesting. The one big reason Google chose a 50 megapixel sensor for the Pixel 6. And this is by Alex Doby, who's a very well-known Android Central writer. One of the best, in my opinion. Right, let's see if I can get rid of the ads. Probably some of them. There we go. If there's one area of Google Pixel phones that's been desperately in need of an upgrade, it's the camera hardware. The main image sensor used in 2020's Pixel 5 is virtually identical to the one used in 2017's Pixel 2, a 12.2-inch megapixel unit with optical stabilization. If you want to go back even further, 2015's Nexus 6P used a very similar sensor, only without the stabilization. I still love that phone. For most of the past 4 years, though, the sensor has been basically good enough. Google's strategy around smartphone photography and hardware products more broadly has been about differentiating itself through software, as opposed to pushing the most cutting-edge components. That's why, even with its serious hardware handicap, the Pixel 5 remains competitive alongside many of the best Android phones. Yet, after almost half a decade, the age of hardware behind that experience is starting to show. So it's time, at long last, for an upgrade. The likely move to a 50 megapixel main camera in the Google Pixel 6 series, widely rumored in recent months and confirmed by Android Central's own sources, comes at the right time. Smartphone giants like Samsung and Apple have caught up with Google in computational photography, that's for sure, while far surpassing the Pixel line in terms of camera hardware. These days, every phone above a certain price point has an excellent night mode and pixel-perfect portraits. These tricks are no longer exclusive to Google phones, that's true, as other brands can rely on the technological might of bigger and better sensors and lenses. Assuming Google uses an off-the-shelf component in its next phones, there are two major candidates for the Pixel 6's main camera sensors, Sony's IMX766 and Samsung's GN2. The Sony sensor is the one we're most familiar with here at AC. It's used to great effect in phones like the Oppo Find X3 Pro and the OnePlus Nord 2. You'll also find it behind the OnePlus 9 Pro's ultra-wide lens. Meanwhile, the Samsung sensor boasts larger pixels for better low-light performance and can be found in Xiaomi's flagship tier Mi 11 Ultra. The possibility of a GN2-equipped Pixel 6 is interesting, since its on-sensor pixels are the same size of those as the Sony IMX363. The sensor. So if Google picks this Samsung sensor for its next camera, it'll be the equivalent of stitching 4 of those Pixel 5 sensors together. That's cool. The IMX766 is also nothing to sniff at and would be a major upgrade in its own right. Whichever of these Google uses in the Pixel 6, it'll represent a huge step from previous Pixels for one reason above all else: data. Sure, a larger sensor will be able to capture moving images with less blur and low-light scenes with more clarity. But the Pixel camera's most compelling features are powered by data, and capturing 4 times that data will make all the best parts of the Pixel camera better. While Google's fancy new 50 megapixel shooter will likely still spit out 12 megapixel photos, since that's all the rage these days with fancy new quad layer sensors, the extra resolution gives Google Software Magic more data points to work with, whether it's judging depth in a portrait shot or correcting the rotation of the Earth in astrophotography pics. The larger canvas means the effect in those images will be based more on data and less on educated guesswork. That's probably true. And while the effect of a higher res sensor may be less pronounced in everyday photography, Google can take advantage of higher resolution to pour more data into good old HDR plus too. One example might be motion photos with fewer compromises. Another reason to be optimistic is the use of seriously upgraded Google-designed silicon for the Pixel 6. Google's GS101 chip, aka Whitechapel, will reportedly boast vastly superior general computational horsepower compared to the Pixel 5 Snapdragon 765G. But it's also likely to herald the return of the Pixel Neural Core, which a lot of people would want, or at least a successor to the AI-focused silicon we saw last in the Pixel 4. That'll mean not only will the Pixel 6's camera have more data to work with, but it'll have a fatter straw through which to slurp that data, and the bigger brain, the fatter straw really threw me off. I'm like, what? Yeah, okay, and I get it now to process it. That means after a relatively conservative year for Pixel cameras in 2020, we could see Google let rip with a much more competitive array of features. That's especially true around video. Yeah, that's where they've been taking a beating, where Google has traditionally lagged behind the competition on account of its hardware deficit. The Pixel 6 camera should have more data to work with and a bigger brain to crunch the numbers. But that doesn't mean all Google's experience with low-res sensors over the years should go to waste. In fact, with the Pixel 6 Pro rumored to feature an 8-megapixel 5x super telephoto shooter, there's room for the super res zoom technology that first debuted in the Pixel 3 series to once again contribute to Google's photographic arsenal. Super res zoom uses the motion of the camera itself to resolve more detail beyond the camera's immediate focal length. So we'll be watching with interest to see how a super res zoom equipped 5x shooter might compete with the current 10x cameras from the likes of Samsung and Huawei. That should be interesting. For the past several years, hacked versions of the Google Camera app have offered a tantalizing, if often slightly broken, look at what Google's photographic magic can achieve when paired with higher-end sensors than Google's own phones. And with the looming launch of the Pixel 6 series, we're about to see the results when this kind of setup is probably properly tuned and combined with Google's unique silicon. The result could be the most revolutionary Pixel camera in the series history. So, interesting. Now, of course, that's got me peaked a little bit too, but I got to get my Z Flip first, and then I'll probably be arguing with myself between the Pixel and the Microsoft. So we'll have to see how it goes and how my money goes too, for that matter.
Yeah. And welcome to the stream, Dave Burns. Dave Burns is here because he's taking a break from his Halo exploits. I don't know how much exploiting he's doing on Halo. For all I know, Halo could be exploiting him. Okay. Halo is a video game, George.
Is what?
Halo, it's a video game.
I knew that.
We'll get into that.
I'm old. I'm not that old. Well, maybe I am. Anyway, Pixel 6 camera sounds like it might be quite fascinating. So, be interesting to see my battle with myself to see who wins, Microsoft or Google. But Samsung first. Okay, next one up. You ready for the next one?
Yeah, hold on, just a moment.
Okay. Let me know when I should share. Mike had mentioned the last time he was on, that he thought because I had gone to the still photograph that I didn't have the motion stuff in the back. So I figured, let me put some motion in my background today so he can see. I still have it. You ready for the share?
Yep.
Okay. And there we go. This is on Android Central again.
Just a moment.
Okay. I'm the old one. I'm supposed to be the slow one here. What are you fighting with?
Sorry, just a moment. So Epic is right when it says Google has no incentive to woo iOS users away.
By my favorite writer.
Hold on, I have to check out my LG phone. It's
okay.
been doing the most since I sold my Google Home speaker.
Okay, I thought that was your Google speaker for a minute.
No, it's all the way over there in my bedroom, but it's just like, I don't know, it grew extra set of ears.
It's yelling at you. It misses you.
Yeah, from across the room, like Jesus Christ.
Anyway, this is by Jerry Hildebrand, who I think is the best writer at Android Central. So let me get rid of the commercials. And there we go. Talk amongst yourselves, folks. Gee, who do we steal that from? I'm glad about everybody that came in tonight. And I know Eleanor had to leave, but she's got to work early tomorrow and she wasn't feeling so well. But I'm glad Mrs. E is still here, or at least Miss E is still here. At least I hope so. And I'm glad about everybody else too. So we've got 2 Eleanors and a Crystal that seem to be coming in regularly, which is nice to have ladies in the chat and to actually watch us. There we go. All right, the star is back. He didn't hear me say that, folks, so don't tell him.
What did I miss?
I said the star is back.
So let's see. But back to the Pixel 6. Yeah, it is time for a new sensor upgrade, I suppose. Because otherwise, because I don't believe the Pixel 5 sensor would not be cutting it.
I agree. And Miss E likes the show, which is very good. Thank you. All right, whenever you're ready, I told him it was Jerry Hildebrand, who's my favorite writer on Android Central anyway.
All right, so Epic is right when it says Google has no incentive to woo iOS users away. Google's business is all about eyeballs on the internet. Meanwhile, software sales, that's where they're so shit about selling their products, hardware.
I agree.
And iOS is good for business. Epic Games has amended its lawsuit against Google, saying there is no incentive for the company to lure its users away from iOS to Android. What originally started as a slap fight over in-app purchases fees from Fortnite revenue has evolved into a full-fledged courtroom drama between companies that, in my opinion, would be better served to hash things out in a way that doesn't hurt the end users of either. But that ship has sailed, and here we are. Well, so far, I think this has been actually very good for end users.
And Jerry is always one to take the side of the users, us, in other words.
While Epic isn't shying away from hyperbole, which always makes for some good courtroom drama, saying that Google and Apple are best friends because of the Google Search app is correct when it says there's little or no incentive to peel users away from iOS. That's because Google makes just as much money from Apple fans as it does from Android fans when it comes to its core business. Search is part of it, of course, and I'm not saying Google wouldn't rather have everyone on the world use one of the best Android phones, but Apple and Google are 2 very different companies that make money in 2 very different ways. Apple is a company that builds consumer electronic devices, just like Samsung or Oppo. It sells those devices and makes a profit from each sale, again like Samsung or Oppo. For accessories like headphones or cables, that's a whole other story. Is it? But for things that are a bit smarter, like a phone or a laptop or a TV box, Apple spends money to write software that makes them work. It it tries to write software that's better than the competition so that you want to buy its product instead of something similar from Samsung or Oppo's of the world. Apple does offer services like iCloud, but those are incentives to make you but those are also incentives to make you want to buy its products. Google does make a few devices of its own, but they are from the companies. But these are far from the company's money makers. Yeah, Google also produces Android, but it gives away for free. Dell has to pay for a Windows license, but Motorola doesn't have to pay for Android. At least not with money. Instead, Google gives Android away without the things that make it more usable, which are collectively known as Google services. These are things like Google Play, Gmail, Photos, and the like. So if Motorola, for example, wants to use Android, it can, but if it wants to license Android, it has to agree to a list of Google apps, and these apps are what really Google cares about because that's what makes the bulk of its income. Yes, making money from free apps and services is a thing, but just indirectly, Google is all about advertisements. Really, Google is essentially just one big ad company. Yes, it makes incidental income through Play Store transactions or selling Nest speakers, but Google is an advertiser at the end of the day, not a phone maker, not a software company, not a game streaming company. It's an ad company, and it wants those eyeballs on the internet above all else. Apple and Google had a few years where it seemed that the two companies were at odds with each other, but it's safe to say that the two are in cahoots and have been since the very beginning. The duopoly is real. The launch event for the first iPhone even had Google's Eric Schmidt on stage with Steve Jobs showing off the YouTube app. You could say that Google's success and Apple's success are very closely tied together, and they still are. Google has moved on from helping Apple build on YouTube app. That is true. And now makes apps for all of its services available on iOS. That is true, where they are extremely popular and arguably better.
That's true too.
Because these services are so good, most people are willing to share data with Google to get them for free. Google takes data from bolsters its ad platform, and it's like printing money after that. Apple's glories are only diligent when they claim that side loading on Android is too hard, or that the contract Epic agreed before Fortnite became the company's cash cow is now unfair. But when it says that Google helps Android keep its customers happy, there is no incentive to get users to switch to Android. It's not wrong.
Oh. Good points made all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that stuck out to me in this article, these are things like Google Play, Gmail, Google Photos, and the like. And it has, if they want to license Android, it has to agree to include a list of Google apps. And that, I'm thinking, may change in the next few years because that's what our government and the EU keeps looking at Google about, making them to get a license to Android use those apps. And I'm thinking the EU or our government is going to force them to stop that at some point.
I don't know about all that. I'm looking at the comments, though. This guy, Duffin, Epic made multi-billions of dollars last year alone. Right or wrong, the attempt of theirs to be seen like they only care about fairness for the consumer just makes me hate them even more and more every day.
Where's the comments?
Right there, view comments 52.
Okay, gotcha. One more. Okay.
That's yeah, it's a flawed premise. Like, he hates them because they made billions of dollars. Like, was it at the expense of consumers?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they are a for-profit company after all. What are they supposed to do? Lose money? That doesn't make sense to me.
And yeah, they're like it's okay to care about fairness. I mean, if he had mentioned something about, Epic's maybe paying the people who made the emo dances, like, then I could see where he's getting all hot and bothered. But
And
um,
like
I'm
he
grateful
said,
for Epic in this situation because if not Epic, who else?
yeah, and there have been, there are others, but
Who
like the
else?
article
There are
said,
others. Who
Epic
else?
didn't seem to have a problem paying Apple until Fortnite took off the way it did. Then all of a sudden they didn't want to live up to their agreement. But they did agree
Because,
to this. They
yeah,
did
because
agree to
Epic
that
finally
going
had
in.
money
Yeah, exactly.
before
Yeah,
they didn't have
exactly.
money. They
And as we all know, everybody who has money wants more of it. At least most
more
people.
money, more problem.
Yeah, I guess
They
I'm
could have
getting.
finally afford to maybe win a lawsuit or two.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And they have a lot of backing from other companies that would also like to not have to pay Apple at 30%. So
But yeah, Google. I think Google is a software company as well as an ad company too.
I think Google has become a software company to me specifically because of the pixels. But I'd say, yeah, they're still an ad. I agree with Jared. They're still an ad. What do they make their billions and billions
Yeah,
per quarter on? Ads.
yeah, true.
Nothing else, you know. So anyway, good article. He always writes good articles.
And this guy, MD1008, I just don't understand what Epic wants to achieve with this lawsuit. Do they just want Google to remove all services from the App Store? I used Android for many years. Recently, in the last year, I jumped into the walled garden and still use Google services. Well, what they want is for Google to either reduce their fee down to 15% or make it easier from the jump for people to have more than one app store instead of just a
But
place on Android.
so we're hearing both sides of the argument right here in the comments, really.
Nah, yeah, well, honestly, it would largely be fruitless effort for most Android users. The more Apple devices people own, the more entrenched they are likely to be in the Apple system. I get it. People here think they hate Apple and iOS. It's what they do. But the truth is, Apple has done some pretty cool things with their products. Yeah.
Well, both companies have.
Yeah, true.
So has Epic, for that matter. So,
Oh, like I like this guy's reply though. Awesome
which
things
one?
like removing the headphone jack and now the charger. Apple is cool and ripping people off and lockdown and restricted. Yep. Yeah.
You can say that, but people still flock to buy an Apple phone the second it comes out, just like me, you know. So,
Yeah, George.
oh, Renz, thank you as always very much, sir. Busy and no internet. I'm sorry that you don't have internet, sir. I didn't realize that is this an ongoing problem on the job? Anyway, I'm glad you're still here, and of course, I'm very grateful for your super chat.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you as
friends.
always.
Sorry about the internet. I had that problem. What was it? Thursday or Wednesday? It
At
was
work?
terrible. No, here at the home.
Oh, okay.
Suddenlink apparently said that some fiber got cut, so
Oh, yeah, that'll do it every time.
all day repairing it. No internet. It was terrible. And then I
Yeah.
had Visible, which are trash here, so I had
Well,
no
see,
internet.
that's why, I'm the old guy here, so I'm supposed to not care about being connected. But I have, other YouTuber friends who say, well, it's nice to get away out into the mountains or whatever once in a while and be disconnected. The one thing I cannot stand is to be disconnected. I hate being disconnected.
Yeah, me too.
I always want to be connected.
Yep.
Oh, and when Miss Lee said good show, Mark came behind her and said, agree. Thank you very much, Mark. That was very nice.
Thank you, Mark.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. I ended up, going about in town and just buying stuff from stores, like buying food from stores. I got pizza from this store, pecan pie from another, ice cream from another store. It was down went to sleep at 9 p.m. Terrible.
So when you can't get connected, you get fat instead? Is that
Exactly. And yeah, David, Apple is fine. Like, I guess, like when you have no other options, Apple is great. Yeah, just peachy. All right, what's the next story?
No, that's the last story.
That's the last story. Oh.
if we look at yeah, let me give you a screenshot of my
Yeah, I see it.
website.
The
Yeah.
3 people on the table.
Yeah, yeah, I'm showing it too. See, there's my website. Now, see, that was the last story. Now, this will be here every week because every week I'm trying to leave room for whatever open discussion anybody wants to have, be it Ted or myself or anybody in the comments. But
I think
so
I like
feel
to
free.
start that.
So feel free. Okay, go ahead.
No. I was the reason why you started including that.
Oh, that you are the reason I did. Yes, that's true. You and Mike both actually.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mike approved it, loved it, appreciated it.
So every week I just want to make sure we leave room for people who want to discuss more or more argument or more comments, whatever you guys want to do. But this may be weekly Ted's in my show, but of course, all of you who are here right now know that this is also your show too. So we appreciate you.
Tech
when
Talk.
I moved to Tennessee, was it almost 15 years ago now?
Mm-hmm.
My favorite expression from Tennessee people is "I appreciate you," which I had never heard before I moved here, and I love that expression.
Yeah, I never heard that expression too until I moved to Texas. Funny enough.
Okay. Do you know? I don't know if I ever told you this, but back in '94, when I spent my couple of months at MBNA in Addison, basically in Dallas, I have never in my life seen so many friendly strangers as I saw in Dallas. It was coming from the New York, New Jersey area. It was kind of took me aback because people were so friendly. People would just walk down the street and say hello to you out of the blue. And I'm like, wow, I never saw such friendly people. So I just thought that was really cool.
That was a different Dallas. I don't really get that.
That was the Dallas of the mid '90s. Okay, I don't know what it is now.
Okay.
Oh, here's a question for you. What are the best MVNOs in Texas? Is visible as what's Garbo?
Garbage.
Garbage? That's what I thought. Okay. Well, I guess you have to answer him.
Honestly, yeah, Dallas is. Oh, he says Texas.
Texas. He's saying Texas. And does he have any idea how big Texas is? I drove from Arizona back to Florida once. Half of that drive was driving across Texas. Okay. But anyway, can you answer his question at all?
I was gonna say, Dallas is, AT&T country, is AT&T's territory. So maybe that extends for Texas as well. So yeah, it's obviously AT&T, and it's going to be their MVNO. So Cricket.
Now, what about when you get out to places like El Paso? I would expect that would change because that's a heck of a long way away. No, I don't know.
I don't know. It depends. You actually know. Let me check OpenSignal. But yeah, I'm still thinking it's Cricket in terms of MVNO.
Okay, Davison, he has no bigger. Best I can tell you, when you're driving from Arizona to Florida, you're driving from West Texas, coming into Texas from the west, and you're driving straight across all the way to Louisiana. And as far as I remember, that drive alone was like 850 miles or so. It was a long time crossing Texas.
Were you going to Georgia? Were you going to Georgia?
No, I was going back home to Orlando. What happened was Eleanor's oldest daughter was in college at the time, and she decided to leave Arizona State. I went out there to drive her with the car back from Texas, and that was '91 when they had the biggest snowstorm that they had in like 60 years. So I got to Phoenix, every cactus was covered in ice. And all the way across New Mexico, it was like that, and all the way across Texas, it was like that. And the ice didn't stop until I got to New Orleans, or until I got to Houston. Then it started raining instead. But even with all that ice, and since it was such a bad storm, Route 10 coming across the country had no traffic. So the map had said that it would take 42 hours to make the drive. And because, even though it was icy as all get out, because there was no traffic, I did it in 42 and a half hours. And I was very proud of myself. I slept, I think, 30 minutes in 54 hours.
There we go.
But you know how I am about driving.
Yes. So I was just adjusting my lighting yet again.
Okay. Even though I didn't even say lighten up, Ted, he still does it. You see, he's addicted.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah, to like laugh, smile. What faces was I making?
Right? See, people are always telling me that too. Smile, smile when I take pictures, when I take selfies.
Hold on, I'm
Dave
trying to
said he
check
drove-
the.
Dave said he drove from Philly to Austin once. I drove. My first mobile conference was when they were still doing the Big Android barbecue, and I drove from here to Fort Worth, and I was the only one when I got there that actually drove it. Said it would take me 12 hours. I drove it in 12 hours, and I found out a 12-hour drive is like the perfect drive for George. Because if I take a longer drive than that, I'm going to have to sleep 10, 15, 20 minutes in a rest area. But 12 hours, I can do that hands down, no problem. But you'll never find anybody who loves driving as much as I do. All right, are we ready for glowing rectangles?
Yeah, hold on. Open Signal. It's like they're only in an app, which is stupid. And so in order to get their signal coverage,
It's good for you, Mark. You see what Mark said.
I mean,
Now, who's Open Signal? Who's Open Signal?
yeah, they're a third party, like, coverage map. They provide you with the coverage for all the major networks in the U.S., but
So
they don't have
showing?
they don't have a web. They just have it looks like it's just supposed to be an app.
Oh, it's just an app?
Yeah.
You can't tell much from it or not?
I can't get it on my web browser because it's supposed to be an app.
Well, you do have a phone. You are a
Yeah.
tech guy after all.
Nah, I turned off the Android.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Got tired of it yelling at you, eh?
yeah. All right, never mind. Yeah, I'm gonna save vote and still say it's probably still AT&T in Texas for your better service.
Okay.
But yeah, I
If
can't
anybody
trust.
knows anybody else in Texas, ask them who's got the best MVNO coverage. See if they disagree with Ted or if they agree that.
So yes, Crickets. It's probably going to be different. Probably once you get around to the Mexico border. So who knows?
Yeah.
Then you probably have to use Google Fi. Oh yeah, glowing rectangle. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, I've got you. Should I share it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of Ted Night Show, Friday Night Tech Talk, where we like to talk about our favorite subreddit, the Glowing Rectangle subreddit. In order to get there, all you have to do is go to Glowing Rectangles. No, hold up. All you have to do is go to reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles. Right?
And I was trying to highlight that up top, but Friday Night Tech. Oh, wait, I can remove that. Let me.
Can you scroll down?
Yeah, let me just do that. Now you should be able to see it. See reddit.com.
Yes, go to reddit.com. Oh, Mark. Yes, Mark is what he's going to do for this Friday nights now. Just go to reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles, where you will find tech stories shared by tech enthusiasts such as ourselves and such as yourselves if you're in our comments.
Yep.
Go ahead and go there. Share a story. Give a few upvotes to the stories that you see.
And I always like to point out that you can share anybody's video or anybody's story. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be yours.
And yep.
Any story you have a high or video that you have a high opinion of, stick it up there. See if people like it. Give them
Yeah.
exposure.
The best thing about glowing rectangles is that we get tech stories, tech videos, not made by some algorithm, by some evil company that sees us as eyeballs and dollars, but by people like you, viewers like you, PBS. So today's top story on the glowing rectangles actually belongs to, drum roll,
I'm clicking top right now. Okay.
holy shit. Sorry.
Yeah. Oscar's got it, huh?
Oscar's got it. George, how come your stories never get on the top thing? The guy has only a.
I never even submit my stories. For
I
one thing.
submit your stories.
Oh, okay.
I submit your videos.
I'm a boring old man. Oscar's a very unboring young man. Yeah.
Well, look at that.
I did see that he had posted that video, but I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was working today.
Looks like Oscar finally got his. I don't know why I say finally. He said he was thinking about getting the DJI Mini, and that he got the DJI Mini too very quickly, I would say. And
Cool.
let's see, Oscar currently has how many? 126 subscribers. When was the last time you ever? Will the algorithm? When do you think the algorithm will ever show you a subscriber that has under, I don't know, 100,000 subscribers?
That's true.
I wouldn't bank on it.
And I believe that's pretty much why Warren started glowing rectangles in the first place. Am I right?
That's right. Second spot goes to the Wireless Report podcast by Sneed. And third goes to, who is that? That's Technical T, isn't it, right? Technical T, where he looks at the Casetify Apple Watch bands.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Technically, one word, TEE, second word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to follow
today's top stories. Shit. And yep, for the week, top stories of the week looks like it's gonna go to some gadget guy. Damn.
Well, no surprise there. He's been doing this. He's the one that started it. He's been doing this a lot longer than the rest of us.
That doesn't mean he has to be the top of his own subreddit. The third.
Yeah, but he earns his way there, not that he puts himself there. So
that's true. But the third story of the week on the Glowing Rectangle subreddit is an article on the Freedom Phone by Omar Zaran.
Oh, okay.
An interesting idea. You have to sort by the week, George.
Oh. Would I go back up top?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, today. Okay, gotcha.
Go top and then week.
Okay.
Downvotes.
What'd you say?
Yeah, I'm looking at David's comment.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at his comments all the way down. Start with that one. Okay.
Ted needs you to get him. Yeah. So yeah, just while you're there, just upvote any story. We can't tell you to downvote a story, but
yeah, and the arrows, you can see the arrows, upvote or downvote.
But you don't have to upvote.
Right.
But give upvotes. But some stories you don't have to give an upvote.
Yeah.
Just I wish I could. Let's demonstrate it, George.
I love this comment by David. The algorithm will show conspiracy channels with less than 100. I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
That is so true. That is so true. Like, yeah, if you wanted to find out something about the vaccine, it'll get you someplace that you don't need to be.
Yeah. Okay. Would you say I should be doing over here?
Yeah. So just scroll down.
Okay.
Scroll down. That's an ad. Scroll down, and then right there. Wait, right there. Click the upvote.
Oh.
The upvote.
This one.
Yep.
Why Samsung phones failed in China?
Yep.
Okay.
There you go. And scroll up a little bit. Scroll up a little bit. No. Down.
No, right here. Freedom Phone.
Yep.
You want to upload that one too?
Yep. That's how you do it, folks. Actually, could you just scroll up just one little bit? Just scroll up a little bit higher. And yeah, hold on, that orange mark. Can you click on that orange arrow, please? Yeah, click on that orange arrow right there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a play button.
Oh, sorry.
The
What
orange
button?
button. The orange arrow.
I already clicked that.
Click it again.
What did I just do?
You missed it, George, and you clicked on the post.
Let's go back. All right. So you're saying click here, right?
Yep. And that's how you do it, folks.
Oh, it takes it all. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yes.
He's teaching me stuff as we go, folks.
Sorry,
You
Juan.
can see, he's the resident glowing rectangles expert.
Well,
Now,
yeah, resident, because I'm the only one here.
interesting that this is coming into more videos. This guy on the right, that's one of my favorite pastors.
Mark is saying, yeah, David, yeah, we were just joking too about the downvotes. We don't actually downvote, but we also don't just
But you
upvote.
can
And really
downvote
need-
if you really want to downvote somebody.
Yeah. I just remember, what was it? Oh my God, this was almost, quarters ago. I remember there was a post on the subreddit that was just about to become top story of the week.
Okay,
and then I mentioned it on the Discord, on Juan's Discord, and then Juan felt the need to promote his story on the subreddit on Twitter.
Okay, and that took off like crazy, I'm sure.
Well, it was neck and neck, but then something happened. Within that week, LG announced that they weren't going to make smartphones anymore. So
Oh, I can see what that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of ruined things for everybody.
Big story of the week for everybody.
Yep. So that was the stories, folks. Thank you so much for storing. David, good luck on enjoying some Halo play.
Good
Mark, thank you again for stopping by.
Yeah,
That's some good tea.
thank you, Miss Eve. You're still here. I know Eleanor probably went to bed because she's got to be to work very early. And Renz, as always, thank you so very, very much, and especially for the super chat. And all of you guys, Crystal, Gary, who else was here? And Juan, thanks for coming by. Did I miss anybody? And David, of course.
David says he's having no luck on Halo.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, don't we all have good nights and bad nights? I think, how long has Halo been out?
Xbox One? Was it Xbox One? So that's 20.
I think I may have played Halo 7 or 8 years ago, once or twice. And what's the other game?
Gears of War?
No, the game where they went to, was it other
Gotham Project
Monsters, and they made a movie out of it with The Rock.
Doom.
I used to play Doom all the time, and I think I played Halo once or twice thinking it was going to be like Doom, and it wasn't, so I stopped. But I used to be a real Doom junkie,
I think Mrs. E is asking you to sing some Sam Cooke. Why can my Strive lisp?
Where? I don't see it.
8:47 p.m. George, Ted, before you close, would you?
Do I remember? Don't know much about. Now let's see. My voice is off. Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. Don't know much about a science book. Don't know much about the French I took. But I do know 1 and 1 is 2. Now I've got the words. I've got the lyrics messed up. You know what I need? If you're going to ask me to do something like that, I need. Oh, you want me to sing something? Wait, I'll give it. Ted, you mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
You want me to actually sing something? Let me go find.
I don't actually have the restream powers.
What am I looking for?
But Mrs. E says thank you. She appreciates it.
Oh, really?
That was
Yeah,
good. Yeah, it was good.
I forgot the lyrics, but I do have some. Oh, I'm looking for karaoke. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. I do have some. I can sing a little bit of, let's see. Um, okay. See if you guys can hear this. Thanks for the time. Can you hear the music?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let me start over. Okay. Thanks for the times that you've given me. The memories are all in my mind. And now that we've come to the end of our rainbow, there's something I must say out loud. You're once, twice, three times a lady, and I love you. Said you're once, twice, three times a lady, and I love you. I love you. Okay, that's all.
That
Is
was
that enough?
that was beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Why am I?
Now, let's hurry up.
Okay. Wait, I messed up my headphones. Say something. Okay, now I got it back. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to at least have some music behind me if I was going to sing something. I used to sing.
Could have left the music playing while you click out and end the stream.
Yeah. Oh, you think I should do that? I already clicked off the music stuff.
But yeah, just end the stream then. Just end the
Okay.
stream then.
All right. Anyway, thanks everybody for coming in tonight, and I hope everybody has a wonderful and blessed weekend. And next week we will be on Ted's channel, and he will be in charge. So look out for all the lighting stuff. You know how he is. Anyway, have a great weekend, folks. and we'll see
Actually,
you
I don't know
next
if I'll
week.
be doing all the lighting stuff. I'll be in another place. I'll be in a hotel. Ugh. I might have you share the stories. I might have you share the
Okay.
stories, George, next week.
All right, but Ted will still be in charge, so we'll be on TED Talks next week. So have a great weekend, folks.
Also, I'm thinking of doing it exclusively on Twitch for next week, a Twitch special.
Okay.
What do you think, George?
As long as you let me know ahead of time. He likes to spring stuff on me, you know. Let me mess up the old man.
Yeah, since we're going to do it exclusively on Twitch, what do you think? How do you think we should do it? Do you think we should?
I've never been on Twitch in my life. What do I know?
You were on Twitch 2 weeks ago. You were on Twitch last week. What are you talking about?
I understand that, but I've never gone on to Twitch, is what I'm telling you.
You were on Twitch last week.
You were broadcasting last week. But
yeah, it's going to be the same thing.
But I never went to Twitch, is what I'm saying, on my own to look at anything.
It's going to be the same thing.
Okay, you say so.
Except,
I guess we'll straighten this out next week, folks. Anyway,
yeah, I'm going to put out the story. I'll see if I can put out the stories early on Tuesday. Okay. Maybe if we need to, we'll do like a little quick YouTube thing to say, hey, guys, go see us on Twitch. But I don't think YouTube allows that, does it?
I have no idea.
Because what's his name? Linus tried doing that. And
they shut him down?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I forgot how Linus was doing it. I think Linus was showing a Twitch broadcast on their YouTube channel.
That I know YouTube does not allow. Yes, I know that.
Mm.
Anyway,
I'll figure it out.
there's your research for the weekend.
Yep. Anyway,
All
thanks
right,
again for
folks.
stopping by, folks.
See you on Ted's channel next week. Bye.